everybody, and welcome to another edition of ROX Network. Another interview coming up for you. This time, a brand new UK band. They're a four-piece called Unrise. They have their own particular brand of metal that sounds great. We are quite sure we'll be hearing a lot more of Unrise very soon. On with the interview.
Okay. It was a message here. It's the first time using Zoom, so.
Oh, new experience for you. I hope you like it, because some people either love it or hate it, and there's no. It's when they're not.
Yeah. When you have like band meetings, you use a different app. So not sure if it's Microsoft something.
All
meetings
right.
or whatever. Yeah, I use different app. This is the first time.
There's loads of them now, isn't there? And anyway, on with the show, as they say. So, Unrise is a four-piece band, I understand.
Yes.
I hate to use the term female-fronted because it's becoming overused, isn't it? Particularly by us lot, the media. Female fronted as if it's some sort of novelty, but there are a lot of female fronted bands now, thank goodness. Oh, someone's running the room. Ed, do you know Ed?
Yes. Yeah. And it's usually defines a specific type of music, of normal symphonic metal or gothic metal. Yeah.
Good evening, Ed.
I prefer.
Yeah, Gary, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks. How are you? Sorry to interrupt.
So I prefer just to say it's a metal band. I think
absolutely.
I think this term is a bit more like restrictive. I don't know.
Crazy is on now. It's crazy is on.
Sorry about that.
That's fine. It helps to hear what we're saying.
It does indeed. Indeed.
But after 5 minutes, you may wish to take those off because my voice, great. But anyway. So how would you describe your music? I mean, the media describe it in their own ways, like I say, female fronted and all that usual shite. But how do you describe your music?
I'm going to take that as a question directed at me, since just
either or both.
Okay.
Can
I would just describe it as there's a part of me that wants to say progressive, because I think I think it's a little bit more musically interesting. Some of the time signatures and the feel of stuff is, but I would just call it a metal band. I think that there's so many bits of everything else in our music. From all the people playing in the band and all of, the influences that Tim and Mary brought when writing most of the material. I think I would just call it a metal band because it incorporates so much stuff. And there's so much cross-pollination in metal, which is great. I've just had a message from Tim saying that he can't seem to get into the Zoom call. So I don't know if
I will keep my eye open for him and let him in as soon as I see it.
Okay. So I would just again, as sort of kind of just hinted at, to say that we're a metal band. I mean, I could describe it in terms of groovy and melodic, and yes, we have a female singer, not that makes any difference.
It shouldn't do,
but it does. It's just the catch-all. It's become a label that, for better or worse, tends to encapsulate a certain kind of band. But I think that we don't really fit into that mold of what at least seems to be marketed as the typical female fronted band.
No, your sound is closer, I would say. Yeah,
with dragons and flames and whatever.
Yeah, it tends to be the kind of damsel in distress with the very bearded men behind her trying to rescue her from something or other. Whereas your music is far more empowering, I think, for her. because she's got a darker role in it all. I mean, I'm thinking in terms of Lacuna Coil sort of sound, really, where she's sharing the vocal harmonies, and it allows her to get darker and deeper into her sound and into your sound as a band, rather than just be the kind of, up there while the band is growling around down here somewhere, which does work incredibly well.
Yeah, I mean, chime in if you want, Nuno, but I would say I'm the relative newcomer to the band, but my perception of the material and the subject matter is that it's all rooted in reality and, real personal struggle, as opposed to singing about demons or serial killers or going on a quest to save the elven lords or some other stuff. And I love bombastic power metal nonsense as much as anyone else, but I think this is a different thing, and it's more visceral and gritty. You might have another opinion, Nuno, because Nuno has played with Tim and Mary for far longer.
Sam, and actually Lacuna Coil is kind of a band we like. All of us like. So yeah, it's a good reference for us.
Good evening, Tim and Mary. Hello. Sorry to interrupt you, but welcome to the chat. Now
you two have to leave so I can fix your problem, because I've contributed nothing to you getting in, and now it's been you're off your own back. So I'm offended by that. Now we have to see if we can hear them.
Now we can't hear you.
Hear us now.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
That's the only time I wished I could hear more of Tim.
Oh. Now come on, let's not have any band strife.
Oh, go on, Les.
I don't mind. It's good for my show. I don't mind. I mean, you can just slag at it all you like. I mean, I don't mind, but it's up to you.
We love each other.
We'll work out to it.
Don't we?
We were just
sorry about that.
That's fine. We were just talking about how you define your sound as a band. Because it's. This will apply more deeply to Mary because of all this kind of female-fronted trend that there is at the moment, where they seem to be taking a generic symphonic metal band and then super gluing a female vocalist over the top of it, where she seems to be almost like a damsel in distress against all these burly men around her. Whereas your role in the band seems to be a far darker role, a far stronger role. I don't know whether you agree with that.
Yeah, I'm definitely not a damsel in distress, that's for sure. Is that all right?
Good for you.
I'm big fan of metal, but I'm not the biggest fan of symphonic female-fronted metal. And it's not that we try and avoid being like that. We're just not like that, are we? No. It's just not us. Just very, very melodic people, really, I think.
Very chilled.
Not symphonic, no.
It's I've listened to the album, that your debut album, Code Blue, which I understand is in electronic formats only. Will that change in the future if you can get some kind of distribution?
We thought about it. It was more of a get it out while it was fresh. Because we were, the 3 or 4 of us were at Bloodstock when the album launched, and we kind of decided on that date because we thought we can talk to people about it. But if you're at a festival like that, as a good example, you could have CDs and hand them out, and that's great, but people won't necessarily be able to go off and listen to them. You give them a link, and they're at a festival, so they should be watching live music, but they at night time when they go to sleep, they can put their headphones on and listen. So you never know what will happen. I was thinking about cassettes this morning because I saw something on the news. Awesome. We just don't know.
Funnily enough, we have certainly been aware of quite a few bands putting out albums and promos back on cassette again. So I don't know, what goes around comes around sometimes.
I love cassettes. But yeah, I think
Yeah.
we'll have some CDs. We will.
Mm.
I'll make them make CDs.
It's wholly possible.
Yeah. You've got to have something to hold sometimes, I think.
Yeah, especially after a show. You know,
Yeah.
you like to go and go home with the CD and get it signed under the whole kind of fangirl and fanboy thing. So it's worth considering. I was saying,
even though nobody plays them, you've still got it as a
yeah, that's right. And you've got the digital for going around on your phone. So I was mentioning earlier on how your particular vocal tone is very reminiscent of Lacuna Coil.
Mm.
Is that
Just
is
without
she
the
an
accent.
is she an influence for you?
It'd be lying if I said that she wasn't an influence, because they're definitely not symphonic at all. I don't love everything they've done, but there are some songs that I love a lot, if you know what I mean. So it's I think this band Unrise morphed from a band called Fall From Perfection, who I sort of joined at some point, and my demo song for that was a Lacuna Coil song. You wouldn't know that because you weren't there then. But yes, respect is I think a word I would say about Lacuna Coil. I couldn't claim to know like more than probably 5 of their songs very well, but yeah, what I like a lot.
So how
And
did
we meet them.
Sorry,
you
met them?
We meet them at NAMM.
Who met them at NAMM?
We met them.
Did we?
At NAMM. Yeah.
Must have been memorable. Mary can't even remember it.
No, not the singer wasn't there.
No, the singer wasn't there, but there was the guitarist and the bass player, I think.
I don't remember that. It must have been one of you, when you were on your own, Nuno.
Probably.
Yeah.
That's a guitar geekery talk going on, and you just switched off.
I don't think I was there, honestly. I don't remember that. I remember meeting Rob Caggiano because I was blushing like a little girl.
Guessing what's under his hat.
Yeah, I took his hat off to see what he kept under there.
You need to know these things. So, how long has the band been sort of officially a band then?
Well, Unrise as it is now for only a year or so, really. We were under a different moniker, as in shape, not as in a woman. Prior to that, as Mary said, a band called Fall From Perfection, and we released an album in 2016. And long story short, we released the album, gigged around, started writing the next album. In fact, we've got so much material. And then our bass player left, he relocated, and we managed to find Ed up there somewhere in a Costa near Winchester, and recruited Ed with the sort of promise that we almost had an album ready. And then, of course, lockdown started happening. So bar a few rehearsals and getting ourselves kind of up to speed, we decided that lockdown would be album time. So it's a really difficult question to answer, because the 4 of us have been musically related for a year and a half.
I think it was like autumn 2019. It was literally just before COVID started being COVID. And
but whether you can class that year and a half or 2 years as actual being a band, because we weren't able to rehearse as much, we weren't able to gig, so we decided to do an album. So we're still pretty fresh as a 4-piece.
I think it is actually about 2 years since I answered that Facebook ad that Nuno put up, and I was lucky enough to see it within about 20 minutes of it going up. So I think I was the one and only person to respond to it. And then we got together, chatted, and you decided I wasn't a complete reprobate. And then I basically spent all of lockdown. Jury's still out, but I basically spent all of lockdown learning Unrise / Fall From Perfection material.
Yeah, so Nuno and Tim and I have been in the band the same band since about 2014. Is that right? 15, 14? Yeah. Various bass players have been and gone.
But I'm the best, right?
You're definitely the tallest.
Is he? That's pretty tall.
Quite possibly.
I'm surprised you haven't been going longer, because mind you have been going a while, really, in a way, as a unit, because you sound gels so well. Considering this is effectively Unrise's debut album, your sound is slotted in. You know what I mean? There's no, let's try a bit of this, let's try a bit of that. You must have had a clear idea of how you wanted the album to sound, and then went from there.
It's not very different from Fall From Perfection. The only with the vocals, the vocals have got a bit heavier musically. Tim wrote the majority of the riffs for them all, so that's why they're, we've gelled for quite a while now, haven't we? It's probably just to do with the way that we write, probably.
It's riff based music, plain and simple. Mary sort of cobbles together the big bucket of riffs that we seem to produce, and from that we create songs. This album, though, because of lockdown, what was different is, apart from actually doing the drum recording in the studio, everything else was done at home. So eventually so we were able to do all the guitars and vocals and bass, and then editing and all the rest of it at respective homes, and then send it off to Miroslav at Jigsaw Audio, who we'd never met. We'd heard some of his stuff and kind of had a bit of a chat with him, and so we had to do a bit of the kind of production stuff remotely, as well as the recording. So it should have gelled, because we were able to get the material written and spend time on it. But the problem was a lot of it we couldn't do together. So it was a little bit mechanical, but we kind of spent the time to get it right. And the material, in one form or another, a lot of it had been in existence for a while, because we've got a lot of material that we've generated, and we've got at least another album, if not 2 albums worth of material already somewhere tucked away in a Dropbox file.
They're not songs yet, but all the building blocks, they're all there. They need cooking.
Yes, definitely. So it was an interesting exercise, but ultimately we're pretty happy with it. There will always be things that one will look back and go, well, maybe we could have done that, maybe we could have done that. But in hindsight, we were so limited, as was everybody, that to be able to do anything when essentially you can't meet up and play anywhere, I think we did the best we could, and I'm really pleased with the result. Obviously the guitar work, of course, but I jest.
And the drums and the bass and the vocals.
Well, all right, not when they're listening.
Well, any lessons that you've learned anyway, they'll go forward onto your next album. So, it's music's a constant learning process after all. So, hopefully we're gradually coming out of the whole lockdown thing. So if we are no longer in lockdown, any live shows planned? I hate to say it, but
nothing in the diary yet.
We're back in the rehearsal studio now, as much as we can. But we, because of all the various lockdowns, we haven't played together much. I think it's fair to say we're a little bit rusty, but
rusty in the live sense.
We're ready to go, but we need we haven't booked in that first date yet that will make us go, if you know what I mean. But I think we're all pretty keen to get back out there. Just waiting for the right opportunity to arise now, aren't we? Yeah. Maybe hopefully fit something in before Christmas at least, and get out there again.
Yeah, and then we have we need to decide whether we do some merch, and we need to go out with the package. And again, a lot of that's a leap of faith stuff, because it's not like we've got a load of stuff left over from before that we can bring with us. In that sense, we're treating everything like we are a brand new band, because we don't at the minute we don't have T-shirts, we don't have cassettes like we talked about, we don't, but all of which is perfectly doable. We just need to we thought, let's get the album done and get it out, and hopefully get it played, and we'll promise to go off and learn the stuff, and maybe we can play it.
Well, with a bit of luck, you will get back on the road and hopefully come to the Midlands so we can come and see you.
Well, keep us posted. But, anybody's looking for a slot, then we're there.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we're always hearing about such things. Is there any plans of putting any videos on YouTube? Because that really is a big help promo-wise.
Well, we have a couple up there. We did a couple of sort of in studio type semi-live things with a scope to, that was more to just have something for people to see, because with the lack of live capacity, it's very difficult for people to actually see the band playing. So we've got a whole album with lots of interesting lyrical themes, which I'm sure Mary can delve into. So we've got lots of ideas for videos that have a bit more of a narrative, perhaps a bit more of an interesting visual, but we haven't committed to that yet, only because
we can't choose which song.
We can't choose which song, and these things cost money, of course. But
absolutely,
absolutely, we have an intention to do stuff.
Yeah, we'll do one for this, at least one for this album, and some other. We'll get some lyric videos up eventually as well.
The two videos that we already have up as Unrise on YouTube were both done in the same day. In fact, we got about enough material for 3 videos. We got a guy called Jay Sanderson to come down. He came down from, I think it's Manchester he's based up, isn't he?
Can't remember.
It was a trek away.
Yeah, and he came down just for the day, and we just blitzed through about 3 videos worth of material.
And it was boiling hot.
Boiling hot. Running through the songs again and again, just get all the best shots. And yeah, we're pretty pleased with the stuff. But I say it is literally just in a room playing songs, which is fine as a sort of I
think Ed's left.
He's frozen.
Time budget and
did you have a freeze moment then in your brain, or hopefully it was the camera?
I think it might be my internet.
Oh, the wonderful internet. Talking of lyrics, what does inspire you, Mary, when you're coming up with these lyrics? Because some of it is quite dark.
I guess I was writing about mental health long before that became fashionable in the mainstream pop world, I suppose. What else? Oh, there's some stuff about dying and things like that.
There's lots
of stuff that I think about, really.
I mean, the song "Lost Friends," for instance, is the music is itself is quite old. It's one of my older sort of song ideas.
Going mouldy at the bottom of the riff bag.
When Chris Cornell died, and we're having this whole conversation about all these musicians that are genuinely of our generation that have influenced our playing and what we listen to this day, and like Chris Cornell and lots of others. I said to Mary, I think perhaps we can write a song about those who have gone. We may not have met them, but they're essentially friends to us because they're part of our lives. So in that, as an example, that was one song that had a relatively simple premise, but then Mary had to do the magic and work around that premise.
That song ended up being a combination of exactly what Tim said, and also a nod to all of the actual friends that we sort of just lose touch with over our lives, and God knows where they end up or what they're doing, and just a nod to everyone who's ever influenced us, basically. Famous people, dead people, gone people.
There are some political-esque songs. Sublime Paradigm is a bit of a a moan at some.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but I couldn't let the whole Brexit, Boris, Trump thing go without writing something about it. So that's what influenced Sublime Paradigm, even if there isn't anything directly mentioned in there.
If you can't speak your mind in the lyrics of a song, then where can you?
The problem is now that every time I sing it, I think about Donald Trump. So I've shot myself.
Ooh, oh no, that orange thing.
If ever you want a musical challenge, and the last track on the album, In Reverence, which is a play on words, every single line is a band's album.
All right, I haven't seen the lyrics.
So if you're bored for 5 minutes or 3.5 minutes, whatever it is, listen to it. Every single line is a band's album, and I'll give you a clue. Most of them are sort of metal bands.
no Bros.
Not quite.
No Duran Duran in there.
Oh, see, thank God for that. Thank you so much for your time, guys, and we wish you all the best with Code Blue and for the future. Is there anything you'd like to say to the wild and crazy people of ROX Network out there before you go?
Well, I would say just keep listening. If I have my arms chopped off and I can't play guitar anymore, I will still buy T-shirts, even if I can't play music, that have bands on them. Keep listening, keep supporting music, rock, metal, gentle country, whatever it is. And thank you. If you have a chance to listen to our stuff, we would love to hear what you think, and give us a thumbs up.
Yeah, like and subscribe.
We've trained him well.
Tick that bell.
Yeah, tick the bell.
Smash the follow.
That's so fucking generic.
Yeah, has to be.
Thank you ever so much, guys. It's been a total pleasure talking to you. Hope to speak to you again soon.
Thank you very much indeed.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Cheers, Gary. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
We're fools for life. Mistakes, a major part. We need to find 2 new lives. Now we've survived everything that lies behind. So tell me I'm a monster. Tell choose